Last several hours, we've started to see a little life coming back to Tropical Storm Gabrielle. Earlier, there was almost no thunderstorm development around the center. It has really been struggling with dry air and wind shear, and the expectation is that it will likely continue to struggle through the weekend. Now, the good news is this is not coming anywhere near the Lesser Antilles. However, some possibly bad news for Bermuda is that it could be getting very, very close, and the expectation is that it does so as a hurricane. Hopefully, the core of the storm stays away from the island, but certainly they're going to get higher surf as the storm passes very near Bermuda early next week. Elsewhere in the Atlantic, if you remember yesterday, there were two tropical waves we were being highlighted by the Hurricane Center. This is one, but no longer being highlighted, meaning doesn't expect to develop. And really, the models are very, very bearish with this wave that is going to be emerging off of Africa. Has a low chance of development in the central Atlantic per the Hurricane Center, but the models just are not as aggressive. And as I've said, as we're getting later into the season, I tend not to focus too much on those African waves because it would take almost 2 weeks if they were coming straight for us. So I tend to look a little closer to home, and thankfully, we have some very strong wind shear across the Gulf, and that looks to remain in place. And the model's not very aggressive with anything developing through the next 10 days. Now, this is new from the Google DeepMind. It is a little more aggressive with something either trying to form in the either northwestern Caribbean or east of Bermuda, or east of Cuba and more near the Bahamas, not Bermuda, Bahamas. And so it really is not locking on to any one particular area for development. So the models are far from in agreement with any further development closer to home in the next 10 days. So that, again, is more good news. Hopefully we'll wrap up September without any threats. And hopefully soon we start getting some real cold fronts. At the moment, we don't have any cold fronts in the near future, maybe one next week. Mostly sunny skies outside, really had very limited rainfall. A few little spotty showers down the bayou, and that has been it. Although even with sunshine and not a lot of cloud cover at all, or any cooling showers, 90 degrees was our high, just a couple of degrees above average. Very pretty afternoon at the moment. Dew points have been in the 60s, so humidity right now is only at 53%. Temperature-wise, still upper 80s and low 90s, and those humidity values, again, are kind of holding in that 60s range, and that looks to continue through most of the weekend. Now, it does look like we get back into somewhat of a southerly wind into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, before what may be a weak front pushing through on Thursday to help lower the humidity. But don't get too excited. Here is what the Euro is saying, and really, this is the only model that has a front moving through. It does trigger a better chance of rain on Wednesday ahead of the front. Maybe some going into the early hours of Thursday, but this model right now kind of clearing us out. Moves through, so that may help to lower the humidity a bit. However, the upper low that will be associated with that cold front has no cold air associated with it. It's called a cutoff low, meaning it is cut off from the main jet stream, meaning the colder air stays in Canada. This, other than bringing us maybe a chance for rain and a slight drop in humidity, again, does not bring in any colder weather or cooler weather or milder weather. It looks like we're probably going to wrap up September on a warm note. And in fact, that is the temperature outlook for almost the entire nation. High likelihood of temperatures staying above average through the start of October. It would be nice if we can start to get more of a fall feel, but it is not going to happen. And consider that Monday is the first day of fall. It'll still feel very much summer-like. Again, with a little bit more moisture moving in, a little more humidity as we head into our early part of next week, and maybe a few more spotty showers. Best chance of rain looks to be Wednesday with a weak front clearing us out for Thursday.